It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Yo, man. Boom, Miss Rusty. What is up, everybody? It is Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Come out to the monster truck races here on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, QGBN. Welcome to the podcast, the public access podcast here on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network. And sponsored by Fred Ben Savage's Fuck, Stoner Eats Productions, Hardcore and Entertainment, Hypnosis is Great, and Sock 'em Up. That is SOCKEMUP. If you want to go to the website, maybe you want to donate to people who need socks. People need socks all over. It's the most requested, least delivered item for people that are in need. So go to SOCKEMUP.org. You can donate right there if you want. Maybe send some socks. Send some socks. People need socks. You got to do that real easy. I think I need to make that easier. Okay. So that's something. Anyway, that's not what this is about today. It's Sunday morning and well, it became a nice day again. So I thought today was going to be kind of a crappy day, but it's not. So it looks like I might be going to the water slides again today. Went yesterday, go again today. Why not, you guys? But the show is not the water slide podcast yet. So, with that said, I'm going to bring on my special guest right here, right now. And right here, right now, we have Aya Hojadova. How are you doing, Aya? I think I got her. Oh, what did I do?
Nothing.
It's
I
so
am just
close.
loading.
Okay. I see it trying to go on. I'm like, I don't know. I hope it's gonna work.
I'm sorry. I was just clicking way too many things. Sometimes I'll just do that to technology and I work faster than technology. So
Hey,
it
it's
has to
better
catch
than
up. Yeah,
better than not working fast enough for technology. Uh,
that's true.
Not
Yes.
yet.
Hi,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah. Thank you for being here and showing up. Yeah, like I said, on a Sunday morning, getting to be flexible with it. And I don't often record on Sundays. No reason really why, but why not? Why not? I can do a Sunday and uh yeah, I mean
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for being flexible. And let's break the barriers of not recording on Sunday and let's be the first ones to record on Sunday.
I think so. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people who are putting out episodes this early on Sunday, so maybe before people are even awake, especially people who are not on the East Coast, are they're gonna have even less time. They're gonna be waking up and they're gonna go, oh well, there's already a podcast going here. It's it's interesting with all the time zones and whatnot. It's nice that we can do this where we can meet with people kind of all over the world, even though you're not that far, relatively far from me. But uh,
Yeah,
it's
like 10
fair enough.
hours.
Yeah,
Yeah, like a
yeah.
10-hour drive.
Yeah. Have you done that drive before?
No, not what? Hold on. Let me. So I haven't drove to Connecticut yet. That's where you're.
Yeah.
That's right. No, I haven't been there, but when I made my move. So I grew up in California. When I
Where in
made my move
California?
to San Francisco.
Okay. All right. What?
Mhm.
When did you leave?
Um, year after 2020. So I was just like, all right, well, everyone else is moving. This is a perfect time for me to move too. And so I drove cross country, moved all my stuff, packed all my stuff, and I moved to South Carolina. And this was actually during the time when I was very serious about my acting career, my modeling career, and then COVID happened, kind of shitted everything up for everyone. So yeah, I was just like, okay, well, I'm working from home. I can work from anywhere technically. Let me go and explore and see what life has to offer. And here I am in South Carolina 2 years after, and it's just been an amazing trip.
So what route did you take? Did you go along the 80?
Whichever was the shortest, because it was like a 5-day drive for me. I did, yeah, I don't even remember. I wouldn't be able to tell you. That's one thing I'm really bad at, is remembering the highway names.
Because if you go and you go from there, it's basically you take one road. Well, no, I guess if you're going down to South Carolina. So
There's
yes, like did you go down out to the like I don't know. Did you go drive along the eastern coast at all, or did you just kind of cruise into town from inland?
I cruised in. No, I didn't explore. So I just drove from California straight to South Carolina. I stopped by Georgia. That's where my brother is. And then I just went straight to South Carolina. I was just when the the month when I decided to make the move, I was just so ready to get out of California. It was during the time where everyone was just like, pack your stuff and haul ass, like get out of California. It was during that time. And when I remember the day when we left, we took off from our house in California and we left. There were a lot of other U-Hauls. Gosh, don't even start me with the U-Hauls. But yeah, there was just a lot of moving trucks and they were all leaving California. It was a really crazy moment for me. It was just very telling in terms of what California has turned into. And then once I got to South Carolina and just seeing all the news, the local news from Bay Area, and just like it just got even worse and worse, like over the last 2 years. It's just been a little bit sad to watch.
You went a lot further than a lot of people in California. I'm from Portland, so California, it used to be back in like the 90s, 80s, late 80s and 90s. It was everyone from California moved to Oregon, and then they started moving to Washington, and then it went to Colorado, and then it went to Utah, and now it's doing Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana.
And
Um,
Texas. There's
Texas. There was a bunch that went to Texas.
yes, a lot of Californians. I mean, Texas is huge, so I guess there's a lot of space, and it is less of a drive than going to South Carolina and all the other southeast states. But yeah, now Texas is just getting probably overpopulated. I don't know.
By Californians.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, especially yeah. I mean, yeah, after the COVID and all that stuff, and a lot of people were just like, okay, it's time to go. I was in Utah and I drove from Utah out here, and so that was a drive, that was a haul. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's the same sort of thing. Just in the car for a while, but got to see a lot of the country I hadn't seen yet, which was cool. Tried to go a little different route because if I wanted to, I could have just gone along the 80, which goes like I think it starts in San Francisco and it goes through like Reno and then kind of meanders, but it goes all the way like to New York, just like straight across. And
Yeah, you'd be going upstates rather than, yeah. I think mine, I was hitting like the middle of the country. So like I've hit Arizona and I'm looking away off
okay,
screen because I actually have a map of the United States on my wall. So I'm just like looking like where did I hit all the states? So like I was kind of like in the middle. I hit Arizona, New Mexico, like little parts of Texas, Oklahoma. So like I was in the middle. But I know there's different routes that you can go. You can go upstate, lower state. I don't even know how to say them, but yeah.
How'd you like that drive? Or was there anything along the drive that you enjoyed or didn't enjoy?
It was a fun drive. It was really interesting to just see what each state had to offer. Like just even I know like you'll learn more about the city and the state when you go drive into the city, but just being able to drive outside, like the highways still were able to, you could kind of tell what kind of a energy was in the is in the air, but also like the nature surrounding the weather, like you can kind of feel the, I don't know. It was interesting to explore and just to see like, okay, every state has its own energy, style, right, environment, approach. But I didn't really get to like explore as much as I wanted to. I think my goal really was get to South Carolina, start a new life, and then we'll go from there. So I wasn't really in the exploring mood of let's explore the country. Let's just go to a whole new state you've never been to. There's no one there. And let's just start from scratch. I think that's where my mind was, but while I was making that drive. And that's what motivated me to come to my destination.
Yeah. I think it'd be easier too if didn't have like all of our shit in the thing with us. Like I'd feel a lot better if I just had a car with like an empty car. If I didn't have all my possessions in this thing, basically, yeah, I don't want to be
Yeah.
stopping in too weird of places. I gotta kind of make sure
And
I know where.
yes, exactly. And to top it off, like that's you just described all of San Francisco. That was one of the many reasons why I moved was you can have an empty car and still like if you go to San Francisco, you can have an empty car, leave it parked in a nice neighborhood and still get your car broken into.
Yep.
And so like having to walk with that mindset and that anxiety, like and driving through that after leaving California, it was and then moving to South Carolina, which is like the most peaceful state. I think it took me another month just to get over that mindset of like no one's going to try to rob me. No one's going to try to do anything, like because San Francisco is just so it felt like a war zone. Everyone was you always had to like clutch to your bag and clutch to everything because you just never know someone can just like surprise you and attack you, rob you, punch you in the face and run away. So you always have to be on edge. It took me like a whole month. I'm serious, just to let go of that anxiety when I came to South Carolina. It's a little bit sad, but I guess that's what the big cities do to people like the civilians, I guess. Yeah.
The whole West Coast, every big city is just gone to shit. It's sad.
Okay.
I mean, I went to, let's see, I went to Portland and San Francisco like in the last few years too. And I mean, just watching kind of what it's become. Like I went to down into the city here, went to New York, and like New York looked better than Portland did, looked better than, Vancouver, San Francisco, Seattle, any of those. Just I was in San Francisco. I saw this was 5 or 6 years ago. I saw a middle of the day, I saw an 8-year-old kid with his mom. I assume that's what it was going on, but I saw an 8-year-old smoking crack. That was an interesting one. But yeah, I was down there a few years ago, and I'm like there in Portland. There's just so many people, like so much shit on the shit and needles all over, and you have to watch out kind of for that. And
Mhm.
so, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's hard 'cause, I mean, both were very beautiful cities. I mean, every city on the West Coast was just so beautiful, and all of them have just kind of gotten taken over. So it's, great to be away from that. And
Yeah, I think I remember this was a year, maybe this was a few months before um the whole white pandemic happened, and we were all forced to stay home. But I remember walking in downtown San Francisco behind this woman who was on the phone, and I remember having that conversation like that same week about where there's poop everywhere in San Francisco, and I was just like, no way, there's no poop, like what? But that's also me because I don't really hang out in downtown, and so
You don't go
all
to
of a sudden I have
Chinatown
to,
or
I'm in downtown that same week, walking behind a woman who's on the phone, and she's complaining to, I guess, a friend and saying, oh my god, I just stepped on like the third poop of the day today, like what the hell? And I'm like, wow, okay, so I guess there really is poop. I'm just blessed not to have stepped on it. That being said, I will say, speaking of poop, I once saw a homeless man take a squat, pop a squat, and take a poop right in the middle of the street in San Francisco. And that was just me driving through. I didn't even walk. Like the audacity. I had to see that while I'm driving, man. I have stories. I have so many stories to share when it comes to San Francisco. I don't want to poop on San Francisco. I love San Francisco, but golly, the city has turned into poop fest. My gosh.
right.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Very sad. Yeah.
And so uh you said you're doing modeling and acting out there too. Um were you doing stuff in the city where like they'd have to have permits and but then like have to worry about people coming on set and being an inadvertent extra pooping in the background or something? Or was there any like I saw some of that up in Portland. I was doing some stuff up there and I did security and then I did some other like stuff with the shows and movies and stuff up there. But it was there were some interesting people that came along. Because whenever you start seeing those little yellow signs everywhere, then you or whatever color they were wherever you were, and
Are
then
you
people
talking about
start knowing.
just
Yeah,
random people approaching you and just like, hey, can I be in the movie? Are you talking about those kinds of people?
yeah, or just or people that come up and are you know I mean, if the people are coming up and they're pooping on the ground, like just sort of wandering into it or having to get them kind of out of the area for the shoot, or was there any stuff like that you came across?
I was privileged enough, I guess. No. I've worked with a lot of smaller crews, and most of them were more on the go. And the bigger crew that I did work with, they had, and if you did work outside, they had security that they would make sure like nobody would be on set. And if there are bystanders going, like if they need to go through set, like again, security will like guide them through that before shooting, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, I never had crazy bystanders. I will say this was I did an industrial shoot. It was like my first year, and it was in Silicon Valley. So a lot of not sure how familiar you are with the market in San Francisco, but it's considered to be the B market. So not the hottest when it comes to films, but still there's a lot of industrial work that you can get as an actor and model. And so we were filming a video for a corporation that was in Silicon Valley, and one of the employees, I guess, really like found this like the crew and the talent profound, and they're like, "Oh, can I take a photo with you guys?" I was like, "Okay, but you don't even know us." And he's like, "Yeah, but I still want to take a photo." I was like, "All right, well, this is cool." So yeah, that was my favorite moment. Like, oh, so this is what it feels like to have random people ask you to take photos. Like, okay, let's pose. That was fun.
So because I heard this other one too, and I've had this. So like when people come up to you, there's this thing of people say, like, "What are you filming?" And there's like, I guess I don't know if it's a joke or like something, and they say they're filming a mayonnaise commercial, as something like so people won't ask, and there's no really follow up questions after that. as opposed to I've never heard anyone say it. Most people are usually pretty quick to be like, "Oh, well, we're filming a movie," and like, "Oh, who's in it?" And then you got all those other questions that keep going and
Yeah.
going. But
Yeah.
I said it a few times, but then people thought that I was talking. It was some code for an adult movie, and like nobody's like, "Oh no, there was no." Oh, okay, cool. He's filming a mayonnaise commercial. It's just like, okay, well, now I opened a whole new can of worms. So now I need to think of something else to say. But um,
I don't know. I feel like anything you say when you're on set, even if you're the security guy, even if you're just the production assistant, anyone,
yeah,
if you're on set and you are just standing there, talent, it doesn't matter who you are. The bystander, like it's over, you're just an easy target for the bystander to come in and start asking all these questions, because you have to understand, like at least for me, before I began my acting career, like I had no idea of what being on set was like, so I didn't even know the kind of questions to ask. So my curiosity, like I didn't even know anything. So if I were to see something on set, which has never happened to me, as a bystander, as a regular person, I would have also just been like, whoa, this is so cool. And I would probably ask the dumbest questions, like for us, since we're on set, like a lot of the questions that bystanders ask to us, they're stupid, right? Like, what's that? Oh, that's a boomer. What's that? That's a light. What does this
right.
thing do? Like, oh my God. So, but like to them, like that's interesting, because now they're starting to see how the recipe is being made, right? If you think about it, like how the whole thing is being made. And so to them it's like, whoa. And so yeah, I don't think there's ever a right answer from for us to give them yeah, like, oh, we're filming mayonnaise, like, well, shoot, now you really opened a whole can of
Yeah,
worms, because like, well, how can you film a mayonnaise and get it excited, and why do you need a whole permit, why do you need, now you really did
yeah,
just open up a whole can of worms. I don't know, I would have been
yeah,
asking all them questions.
yeah, right. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, you kind of did that.
Okay,
I brought that on
bye.
myself there. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. I was lying. I'm sorry. Uh, and so, I mean, what was the first thing your first gig you had?
As an So I guess this was more as a model. I wasn't really acting. I was modeling. It was my first gig was a small crew. We did it for a backpack company, and we shot some social media footage and some footage for their website, like for their menu product website of all the product types. Yeah, that was
Uh,
a lot of fun.
And then it kept you coming back to do more after that.
Oh yeah, it was so it was my very first I guess that was my second, but I consider it my first because it was my very first full day of work. Um and the reason why it's still stuck in my mind as my first was because one, I was super intimidated. I was just like, I've never been booked as a talent before, so that was like whoa in itself. Two, I was like, is this even real? Am I even gonna get paid? I don't know about you, Rusty, and what the process is for you in terms of how you find work as an actor. But so I used casting networks, and at the time, again, being it my first booked job, I don't even know if this is my first. I don't know if this is legit. I'm now like thinking like, whoa, stranger danger. But it was such a great experience during lunchtime. Even like the director he handed lunch to me. He's like, I want to make sure you eat. And I was like, well, damn, like, okay, thank you.
Wow.
And it was just like a very memorable experience because it was the first time I really felt like I was taken care of. I was always prior to acting, I was always the one taking care of everybody else. I was the one hustling, always making sure everyone else was happy. And for the first time on set as a talent, not only do I have the PA making sure that I'm hydrated, that I'm looking good, like they want to make sure that I'm good on screen, right? So that was the first for me. And then now here's a director like handing me a sandwich like with his hand and saying, make sure you eat. I want to make sure you're good for the next shoot. And I'm like, whoa, this is some royal treatment. This is great. I can get used to this. It was an amazing experience, and that's really where the whole addiction started. Of like, okay, I want more. I want to do more work. I want to be more like I want to be on set more and more and more. And yeah, as soon as I got that experience, I just started to put myself more out there. Started getting bookings as an actress, as a model, and it's just been an amazing experience up until COVID hit, and then just ruined
Yeah.
everything. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. It really tough. Yeah. I mean, like it was weird because yeah, where was I? Even when I came back, or not came back, I was in when it started, I was in Minnesota, and then I wasn't really doing much out there. But then even when I went out to Utah, I mean, there was a bunch of still having to do all the COVID guidelines and everything for all that. It was still odd, everything else had eased up, but for some reason, it was still like everybody around, nobody's wearing a mask or anything, but then all of us on set had to wear a mask. There was some, it was odd, and then you have to go and take the tests beforehand for like every day you shoot or when you get on to set. Had to do that, and
yep.
yeah,
So
I'm glad that part's passed for now.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh well. So I actually right before COVID hit, I booked a lead
Oh,
actress role for a feature film, independent feature film called Pride Jewels. So it's out now, but at that time, this was during 2020, got booked, and I think it was like no, I actually think it was the week right when we shut down. So I get booked, a few days later, boom. And what is it? Lockdown, right?
ooh.
Everyone's locked down, no filming, no nothing. Even though the plan was to film like in April of 2020, and lockdowns happened in the middle of March for us in San Francisco. And so we had to push everything back, the crew, I think by July. And yeah, it was just it was an experience in itself, because this was the first time all of us, the crew, the talent, we all filmed during COVID. So yeah, we had to kind of go through that whole process of making sure no one's bringing anything. We're all getting that rapid testing every single day, keeping that distance, making sure we're wearing all the masks, protection, like protecting ourselves, right? Keeping that 6 feet distance. It was wild, but we achieved it. And yeah, you can't really tell anything on film, but it was just that was an experience in itself to be able to film during COVID.
Yeah, it was masks up, and then unless you're wearing a lot of makeup, the people who are wearing a lot of makeup were usually exempt from having to wear a mask. But
That
it's
was me.
yeah, you're lucky. And then it's like, okay, action. Okay, take your masks off, action. And then as soon as you say cut, put them back on
Yeah.
every time. And so it's all like COVID stops when they say action, and
Right. That's right.
yeah.
COVID doesn't exist the moment the director says and action.
Yeah,
It comes
and then it comes back as soon as they say cut.
That's right.
Uh, so put it back up, and
Yep.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I was like, oh man, I wish I was wearing a lot of makeup, and I got to be that part where it's like, oh wait, why does she have to wear anything? Well, she's wearing a lot of makeup, and it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. You don't want to have
Yeah,
to go and touch that up every time, but
that's right. Rusty, it doesn't look good when you've got lines in your cheeks.
right,
And I mean, come on now.
yeah.
Tiger, tiger cheeks.
That's not what they're bringing you in for. They're not bringing
That's
you in
right.
for lines on your cheek.
That's right. Yep. Got to breathe life into to the script. Yes.
So what was your character in that movie? What you have to do? Was it a stretch, or was it something that was kind of easier to get into because you felt a connection?
Um, I kind of felt the connection. This girl, this character, she was in school, though that wasn't shown, but it was, implied that she was going to a fashion school. So that was always something I wanted to do. So that kind of really helped connect. It helped me connect with that character. And one other thing I loved from the producer, who was also the screenwriter of Pride Jewel, he allowed me to kind of mold that character into my own personality. So I allowed myself to tap into the nice side of me, because she is more nice. Like I'm more on the rougher side, like, okay, I'm more business. And she's still kind of new to it. So the stretch, when you were mentioning like, oh, was there a stretch? For me, the stretch was I had to play a young 21-year-old, like, or a 22-year-old. That was a stretch to me, because I think I was in my late 20s. I think I was actually 30 at the time. Yeah, maybe like 29, 30 when I played her. So for me to go back to the mindset of 21 was a little challenging, even though the physical aspect of it may have fit in, but the mental, as an actor, you have to really like work on the mentality. Like, okay, the 21-year-old, even though like you're 10 years older than her, so that was the challenge. But everything else, I think that kind of aligned with my personality and her character. I think we made it happen, I hope.
Well, was it very word for word had to be spoken, or was there wiggle room for improvisation or
There
anything like that?
There was room for improv. Yeah, I think as long as it came off naturally, that's really what mattered. So yeah. No,
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Do you prefer it to be line by line, or do you like improv, or what's your take on that?
I don't really have a preference when it comes to that. I do love and appreciate when the director and everyone allows me to, or not allows me, but just gives me the freedom to play. Because the moment I'm given the freedom to play, then I'm able to really bring things into life. And I think that's really for any actor and any artist, is when you give them the freedom to just be, they can come up with some cool creative things.
Right. And so you're thinking as a early 20-year-old, you're not thinking as you singing these lines, like in yeah, I mean, because I say this a lot. One of the guys that um like trained me for wrestling with character work and stuff, he said, your character once you can, if your character goes into a McDonald's and he orders some food, and then he finds out that the order's been messed up, what would that character do? And knowing like what that character would do at that moment could kind of be able to tell you what your character would do in any situation. And because I mean, it's knowing your character is so important for anything with acting. I mean, like you said, you could just go and say your lines, but you're not getting into who the character really is, what the character is really all about, any of that.
No, so it's been a while. I think, yeah, it's been ever since I moved to Charleston. I've shifted and have done more business. So it's been a while for me since I've been in the mindset of an actor, but I appreciate this conversation because it's nice to reminisce and go back to it. I miss it. That being said, though, again, going back to that freedom, I love freedom to create. I miss the team, the collaboration of when you're on set, you're working with the crew and the talent, and you guys are trying to figure out how to make this beautiful piece, right? Like you're trying to bring it to life. I love and miss that, but where I was going with this was, as an actor, I think in order for you to be able to pull off, whether it's the lines or just even to pull off the character that you got cast for or you're auditioning for, you really have to know your craft. You have to know yourself. You have to tap into those emotions of whatever the character requires you to do. And you can only do that when you go to gym, right? And for an
Right.
actor, the gym is acting classes, right? Or acting workshops, improv classes. Like I know when I was acting, and I would attend these classes once a week, and we're constantly working on our instrument, as they would call that, as teachers would call that, because that's really what it is, right? Like we have to make sure this
Right.
is okay, our heart is okay, our mind's okay, our soul's okay, and still be able to tap into all these emotions to bring out this character, bring that character to life so that the camera captures it, right? Like that's so important. And that all goes back to doing the work as an actor, going to that acting classes, doing the work at work in the gym, working on that soul, that muscle.
So have you gotten or thought about doing any for your, because you're in real estate as well right now. Have
Yep.
you
So I'm in
thought,
commercial.
go
Yep.
ahead.
I'm in commercial real estate right now. Have I thought about acting, or have I didn't mean to, I just wanted to let you know I'm in commercial real estate. What was your question though?
So
Did
I
you?
was going to say, with your commercial real estate, have you thought about doing any, making any commercials or anything for your company, your practice, your, I guess it's you. So, I mean, are you like, bringing in people and being the director of it, and, making some, a commercial or something for it?
That's the goal. It's not happening at this moment. There's just so much work. So I work with a business partner who's been in the industry for 35 years in commercial real estate. So I work with him very closely. And one thing, in addition to that I have background in acting, but my background really comes from marketing. Like I've have over 10 years of marketing experience. I graduated with a marketing degree. So marketing is where I get to play. And again, one of the other reasons why I kind of left acting and modeling was to really continue exploring my passion for marketing, because that was another area where I noticed I get to play, and I had a lot of fun playing. Plus acting and modeling, I had a lot of fun playing there too. But I saw that there was more fire, more passion in marketing. So one of the other reasons why I moved to South Carolina was to explore what that looked like. And it kind of led me to commercial real estate because, one, I saw a lot of opportunity on the marketing side that commercial real estate just lacked. There's technology opportunity there, and commercial real estate is lacking at the moment. So there's a lot of things out there that I am definitely working on and wanting to bring to fruition at this moment, because there's just so much happening. I can't do it, but it's definitely on my list. Like I would love to have my own crew. I would love to film my own commercials. Like that is definitely the goal, and that's where we're going. It's just not anywhere in the near future, but who knows? That'd be
And
fun.
yeah, and so then going to commercial real estate, I have like, I heard that's kind of the way to go as opposed to residential. It's a much better idea of doing that, a lot less because, well, okay, here's what I heard. With someone who did residential for a long time and got into commercial. He said that the tenants are a lot more likely to keep their place in a presentable manner. Like they keep it nice because it's also where they work and not just where they live. So they have to go and like make sure there's like a nice appearance for the public to come in. So it's not gonna be, there's not too many businesses who just go and completely trash the place
Mhm.
that they're in. And I thought, that's probably a good point there with that.
So there's actually a lot of product types in commercial real estate. And I think what you described primarily was on the retail side of things, the retail tenants, even industrial tenants as well. Because again, those tenants, these are business owners. Of course, they're professionals. Like they're in the business of making money. And if they're running down a place, they're clearly not doing the business right, because
Right.
we're supposed to be in the business of making money, right? So yeah, I that's one of the reasons why I prefer commercial real estate, especially retail and industrial, because the tenants are different, they're more professional, and it is yes or no. It's never like a maybe yes, maybe no, which is what you would get on the residential. Residential is more of an emotional purchase, right? A lot of times the people who are buying homes, condos, whatnot, it's their very first purchase, or maybe second very big purchase. So for them, like this attachment to money, like it is an emotional roller coaster. And then when the family's involved and the culture is involved and all of this other ideas, and it can turn into a whole snowball of emotions real fast. And I just my mom is in residential, so I see it. And when I was getting my license, I'm like, one thing I know for sure, I am not going to be residential real estate. No, thank you.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I went to commercial. I love business, I love marketing, and it actually goes really well together. So it's been a lot of fun doing that.
So are you doing the marketing for your what would you call it? Is it company, or would you call it
So I broker with Coldwell Banker Commercial.
uh-huh.
But you know, I'm an independent contractor. I'm an agent, right? I'm a realtor. So yeah, we just have a backing of a big company of Coldwell Banker representing us, and us representing them. Yeah, I think that kind of wraps it up.
So one thing I learned about realtors. So I had this shitty job at one point. Oh, I've had many shitty jobs,
I
but
think we all did.
yeah,
I
but
hope.
this shitty job in particular, I was, let's see, it was a call center, and they wanted to know like, what accent around the country I could kind of sound like, to make it sound like it's more, personal when they call up. So for some reason they picked South Dakota for me. I don't know why South Dakota. I'm from Portland, Oregon, but they thought South Dakota sounded good for me. So
Okay.
what I would do would this was for realtors to get their listing on the first page of Google. And I'm sure you've gotten phone calls about this from people, or I have a feeling you have. But first, like, so if you want if someone's searching commercial real estate in Charleston, South Carolina, you'd be on the front page of that. But then there's also, uh, real estate in Charleston, South Carolina is different, or commercial real estate in Charleston is a different search as well. And, um, but one thing I learned though, they said that you can, because all you have to do is go on to any of the websites, and every realtor has their phone number on there, their cell phone number, and realtors are very will almost always pick up the phone no matter what, because you never know if it's going to be someone picking up. And so I felt like an asshole so much that I was just like, they're like, well, like, wait, why are you calling me? I'm like, well, your phone number is here on, online, why wouldn't I be calling you? And,
Right.
like, how'd you get my number? Well, it's right here. And,
Oh
uh,
gosh.
so yeah, that was something I did for a while, but that's something I learned about realtors, was that they always pick up their phone, or if they don't pick up, you don't have to wait more than usually half hour for them to call back. So,
Well, thank
um,
you. It's interesting. When was this? Because times have changed since you had that job. I'll let you know.
yep,
I'll say that.
it was probably maybe a decade ago, somewhere in
Okay.
there, maybe a little less.
Yeah,
What
no,
what's
times
what's
have
the game now?
Oh, well, this is me speaking from experience. When my partner and I, when we call the agents, most of the time they don't pick up. Most of the time.
Oh,
Yeah. And when I remember when I first started, I would just be on social media trying to just get any tips, just anything. Like I was so hungry for knowledge as a new agent. So I just like look on Facebook, and a lot of other agents would just say the same thing. Like, why aren't other agents picking up the phone? Like, I'm trying to refer business to you. Why are you not picking up the phone? You're not even returning my call. And I'm like, whoa. Yeah. So this was all recent. There are oftentimes you'll call agents. Maybe they'll call a few hours later. Again, rare. They'll have to call them a second time, third time, and then they'll have to send a text, and then they will reply. So yeah, not everybody picks up the phone. And so yeah, my partner and I, we really make sure to go out of our way to pick up on everyone, including scammers, for that exact reason. Because it's, you just never know. And I would rather just say, hey, please stop calling me, remove my number, rather than have missed out on an opportunity from a client and give them a terrible impression of me just because I chose not to pick up my phone because I think they're a scammer. Like, no.
Right. And, I mean, I think that's kind of a thing. I can't tell you how many friends I get called right now. If I even pretty good friends, I could call up and they would pick up their phone. I might get a text back from them, a little later, but there's not too many that will still pick up the phone. It's kind of gone away of people wanting to talk on the phone, especially once COVID hit. I don't know why it seemed to become less people want to talk on the phone, but more Zoom, but less phone call.
Yeah, it is so weird. I wonder, like, we can probably even unpack this, and this could be like a whole day conversation. If you think about it, we can even do research. I'm curious because there's so many factors that play with this, right? Like, I'm sure the reason why people don't pick up the phone is because first thought in their head is, oh, it's a scam calling me, right? Like, because my friend's not gonna call me out of the blue. They're gonna text me first, or they're going to send me an Instagram story or whatnot. I don't know. So like I think that's one of the mindsets, like, well, that's what's happening, is because we have so many scammers calling us, we're like immediately that's where our mind goes. I don't know. That's me just guessing.
That's well, I mean, we'll have to do
We'll
another
have to
one
do a
here
whole,
with that.
yeah.
That'll be the next one to unpack.
Yes.
Have you gone out to Myrtle Beach out there in
I
South
have
Carolina?
not yet. I will be going there in October, so I'll report back.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's somewhere I've been looking at. I wanted to check out. So there's this show and the character, they do a season down there in Myrtle Beach, and so I've always kind of like, oh, okay, I want to check that out now. But yeah, South Carolina. I had a buddy, not a buddy, a cousin who was in the Air Force, and that's and Charleston is where the Air Force base is, right? So there's
Yeah, we've got a base, we have a port in Charleston. Yep.
okay, and so I guess if you're not doing, yeah, I mean, does it seem like there's a lot of people in town that are part of that, or like what kind of people are out there in Charleston?
We've got different types. Are you talking about workforce?
Yeah, workforce or just people that you see walking around.
I mean, when I see people walking around, they're all regular people to me. So regular civilians. So I can't really tell, right?
Right.
Uh, and I think that's a good thing. I wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
But that being said, like if you were to go to San Francisco downtown, for example, you can immediately tell who's a software engineer, who is in tech, right? Just based off the way they dress. They fit into that, like, I'm sorry to say, stereotype, and then again, this messenger bag really just kind of gives it away because you can tell there's a computer in there or a backpack. Anyway, you can't really tell much in Charleston, because in Charleston you have a mix of people. One, because Charleston is a tourism destination. there's different types of work available. So, and then there's also different types of people coming in too. Like you've got tourists and you've got regular workforce, and we've got a lot of industrial companies here as well. So we've got Volvo, we've got a couple of car companies out here. We got Boeing. So I know Google is establishing something here as well. So there's a lot of job creations happening, and I definitely know there's going to be a lot of growth and job creation and economical growth, economical development. It's going to continue to grow in Charleston and the nearby areas as well. I feel like all of South Carolina will eventually blow up too. So sorry, I know this is like a long-winded answer to your
That,
short
it's a
question.
podcast. That's what's supposed to
Yeah.
happen.
So it's a mix right now, and I want to say it's like San Francisco maybe 25 years ago, when people were just like, oh my God, this is the next cool thing. And at the same time, because I can understand the locals' concern. A majority of the locals in Charleston, they want to retain the history of Charleston. It's a historical town. There's just so much history. If you go to downtown Charleston, you can just walk it and you will see so much history. You can go into the museums and learn so much history of America. Like you'll just be able to experience it firsthand. Like that's what's beautiful about Charleston. And I know a lot of locals want to keep that history as much as possible, but because new people are moving out of state, like Californians are moving to South Carolina, New Yorkers, Philadelphia, Florida, the locals are kind of getting scared of that the culture, the Charleston culture is going to change and shift. I can kind of see that already being here for a couple of years. I've adapted. I'm a very adaptable person. If I like something, I'm going to adapt to it. But I can feel and sense, like, I can tell, oh, this is a New Yorker driving because of the way that they aggressively swerve and driving on the road. Versus a local, they're more relaxed because this is what Charleston is known for. Like, we're here hanging out, we're on vacation, we're laid back, we're not in the go mindset. We left that city, we left those big cities like San Francisco, New York, to be here to take it easy and enjoy life. And so these newcomers, unfortunately, I'm one of them. I'm sorry. But yeah, like they're the ones kind of ruining everything. I'm doing my best to like bring awareness that if you're going to move to a new city, you should adapt. So yeah, I'm hoping that we'll be able to keep the culture, the history of Charleston, but also bring technology into it, and maybe, yeah, like that growth that I'm talking about, that economical growth, and I'm hoping that will be impacting the entire state in a positive way rather than a negative way. So we'll see. Yeah.
How are you liking the southern feel? Like that's something I haven't got to live anywhere in the South. The furthest south I've lived is Salt Lake City, and that's not very south. But like I've wanted to live down there in the southeast area because it's different than everywhere than I've been. But how have you enjoyed it? Was it like, I mean, did it seem pretty different with kind of how everything was, or was it different, like a good surprise, or where are you with living down in the South?
It was definitely, it was definitely a big surprise. Because when I was leaving California, most of my friends in California were saying, be careful, watch your back, this is the South. They're very racist out there, so just make sure to watch your back. And I'm like, okay, I mean, how worse can it get than it is already? Like, I'm already in California. I've been through so much, including racism, sexism, all of it, and everything in between. I'm like, okay, let me try South Carolina. So I came to South Carolina with the mindset like, be careful, there might be racists walking around. It's been a couple of years now, still have yet to meet a racist person. So again, going back to, I felt more racism, experienced more racism in San Francisco, which is known to be the most diverse city in the country. Yeah, and it kind of beats New York too in many ways.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I've experienced more prejudice, more racism in San Francisco than I have in South Carolina. So
that tells you something.
it says a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how Portland was. Like Portland's supposed to be this thing, but it's like the most, uh, racially segregated city in the country. And I mean, it's like, okay, this is like the place where there's no racism, no sexism, no
Yeah, I heard
nothing.
such
And then
great
it's like,
things
wait a
about it.
minute. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, okay, all right. So yeah, stuff isn't always, but I mean, that's also something too. There's, uh, like when you tell, like maybe that was their thing. They're like, oh yeah, everyone down here is racist. Everyone here sucks, and so they don't have a bunch of people coming down there being, like, oh, let's go down here because it's such a great place. Like, um, I think that was Portland's downfall. They
Hmm.
they won the best place to live one year in the country, and then everybody flocked there.
Yep.
And there are other places where it's been, like, oh, don't come here. This place is it's cold, it sucks. What are you gonna do here? And it's humid all the time. Don't come live here. But then it's a good way to kind of keep people from coming. You gotta keep it cool and yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. It was I guess you just kind of reminded me of I had again, I don't consider that to be a racist interaction, but I did get like into a interaction with a local on Facebook where somebody was saying like, oh, go back to where you came from. I was like, bro, like I lived in San Francisco, was still within the same country. Like maybe you should just go back to school before you say go back to where you came from, because you don't even know what that means.
right.
If
Yeah.
you really unpack that question, you don't know what that means. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just I think everybody needs to travel. That's really, long story short. Everybody needs to travel so that more people can be more open-minded and understand that being like stepping outside of your comfort zone, stepping outside of the environment that you grew up in is actually really good for your growth in your mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because now you're exploring the unknown, but you're going on an adventure. Like that's supposed to be exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, like
And
do something exciting. Yeah.
yeah, I remember people like in their 20s and 30s and saying, I'm too old to do anything else.
Oh
I
gosh.
I met a lot of people like that. And it's like, wait, hold on. Like you have plenty of time to do something else. You're not that stuck in your ways. You're not an old dog yet. We can still teach you some new tricks.
Well, what is old to me? Like I feel like
Right.
when someone says, "Oh, I'm too old," it's almost like a cop out. Like,
Right.
damn. So instead of saying, "Oh, I'm too lazy," or "Oh, I just don't care," or "Hey, listen, I hate myself so much and I am so miserable in life," I'm just going to use "I'm too old" as an excuse not to do the thing that I want to do, but I'm too scared to do. That's really what
Right.
it is. It's a cop out answer. And so when someone says it, like I get triggered. I'm like, okay, I'm not talking to you. Don't even start.
Yeah. It's not gonna do anything for them. And I mean,
Yeah,
if it's all on them too to want to do
exactly.
something different. And I mean, with that mindset, you're gonna be kind of just there, and it's like, oh, okay, this is some other external force's fault. It's not my fault. It's
Yeah,
something else. Like, oh, I can't, and then that just sets you up for like, okay, well, this is it. It's not. There's nothing I can change. So yeah,
exactly. I think because I used to have that mindset too, and this was me in mid-20s. I remember feeling like, okay, was this it for me? Like I was in my corporate job at the time. I was doing marketing and sales. This was before acting. I was overweight. I was over 200 pounds. I was in a very unhealthy relationship. And I remember having that question, like, is this all there is to life? And then the moment I started to ask that question, things started to unpack and unravel, and things started to kind of fall down and break. And I went through this whole rough patch in my life, and it actually helped and inspired me to write a book about that experience, and I published it earlier this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And it actually helped me realize, one, you don't really have to settle for that mediocre life. You really don't. Like, if you are starting to question if this is all there is to life, that's probably a sign that this is not all that there is to life. This is a sign that you need to go and explore life on your terms. You need to go and explore you and see what you want. Figure out who you are, how you are, what you like, what you don't like. This is a sign that you just need to go within and explore yourself. Yeah.
Very important to
Very,
do
very
that.
important. Yeah, because the moment you can go inside yourself, figure out, okay, well, I'm very happy with this, or I'm okay with this. I can probably do more or whatnot. That's when you start to kind of like figure out, like, okay, what can I drop and leave behind because that's dragging me and bringing me down, and what can I do more of that will bring more joy into my life? And when you start asking yourself, what can I do more that brings more joy into my life every single day, that joy, like that mediocre life that you're used to, which always goes like on average just like a regular line, if you ask yourself, like, what joy can I tap into today? What can I do that will bring me joy? Now you're no longer going like sideways. Your everyday life gradually grows, and now you're continuously growing as well and becoming more happier day by day by day. And that's where that momentum of growth happens. You're enjoying your life more. You're experiencing life in better ways. You're no longer dull. You're no longer living that boring, mediocre life that you're so used to.
Right. And I mean, from anything from, you know, a shitty relationship, like relationships don't have to be shitty.
Exactly.
Your career doesn't have to be shitty.
Yep.
Waking up on a Monday morning can be a fucking great thing. Like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
waking up every day can be a great thing. And it's okay for that. It's okay for that. And to kind of make everything that, like, nothing, almost nothing is caused by external forces. Most everything in this world is because of what you are experiencing and what you choose to experience. And so you're the one that can change it, and you're the one that can, like, turn everything around. And it can be difficult. It doesn't have to be difficult. It might be, it might not be, but it also, like, one little thing can switch everything around, and you don't need to be, it's okay to not feel miserable. And some people like feeling miserable because it gives them a pity party. And for lack of better words, some people like to get that, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you, and like get that little bit boost of feeling good. And it works for a while, but then eventually, yeah, that only goes so far. And then it's still then back on to yourself to make yourself feeling good. So
Yeah. That's another favorite topic of mine that could also in itself be a conversation. I think with what you described, when there's a lot of people who want that pity party, I think because they're just so identified with that pain that it's so buried inside, like they're looking for other people to just kind of be like, oh, it's okay, like it's fine. When in reality, they need somebody to like shake them up and say, slap them up a
yeah,
little couple of times and be like, get out of it. Like, you need to tap into that pain, work on that pain, heal that pain, so you can then leave that pain, or not even leave it, but like own that pain, but
Right.
don't identify with that pain.
Yeah, you aren't that pain.
You aren't
That
pain.
yeah, it's a thing that happened, and no
Exactly.
matter how much it sucks, you can always
Mhm.
learn from it, and you can always be able to unpack it and work through it. And if for some reason someone thinks that they can't get a hold of me, I'll tell you you can. Uh,
I love it.
I'll show you you can, and I
Okay.
can do it in 2 hours if you want.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, I mean, it's doable. It's doable. Anyone can get through. At least make whatever it is not as impactful in their everyday life, and be able to learn from it and grow from it. And then that's when you get that release, and you can move past it, and you're not just this one event that happened to you.
That's right.
And if that is, that's not a good way to look. That's not a good way to look at your life, thinking this one event, this external thing that happened to me is everything I am now, and that's all I am.
Hmm.
And that's a mindset that needs to be changed.
Yep.
And it's some people don't want to hear that, and those are the people that really need to hear it.
Absolutely. And I mean, as you're saying this, three books really come to mind that really helped me during my time. When I was going through that realization of, oh, I didn't, my problem, I didn't need to identify with that problem. Um, I could just be, I could just let it go. I could just be present, and I could just enjoy life like right now. What do you mean? That was so foreign to me at the time when I was going through it, because I was going through my reawakening phase, as you can probably say it that way. And so the three books that really helped me shift that mindset was Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now and The New Earth. I don't know if you've ever read those, Rusty.
I have not.
Okay, I would definitely recommend those for you, as well as definitely for your listeners, especially if you're resonating with what we're talking about. Those two books really, really helped me shift my mindset from being attached to that pain into
Yeah.
being really present and just being okay, like being with my breath, being okay where I'm at right now. I'm safe, really, like, because yeah, you'll have all these like those thoughts, the anxiety of either the future or the past. It's never in the present moment. So The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle really helped shift that mindset. And then what really tied everything together for me, in terms of what was my purpose on this planet, and the before and the after of coming to this planet, essentially, like that really kind of filled in gaps for me. And again, this is more on the high, like, I don't know if this is real, but it helped me just like on the spiritual level. Yeah, so I recommend this book as well to everybody. So I think other people will like it too. It's a book called Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. Have you read that one, Rusty?
I have not. No, I haven't dove in much into to this side
Okay.
of it. I've yeah,
Those are my top three
which
books. Yeah, those helped me really get into one, appreciating the present moment, appreciating my purpose on this planet, realizing that one, I am not my pain, I am not my experience, I am more than that. My purpose on this planet, my life on this planet at this time, at this moment, is worth more than my pain and my past experience that I may have experienced 20, 30, 40, XYZ years ago. I'm more than that, and so are you. So,
and
great book.
then and then the third book, I assume, is the book that you wrote,
No, that was
which
so.
oh,
The
that was three.
Power of
Okay,
Now is one book.
gotcha.
The New Earth is the second book. They're both written by the same author, Eckhart Tolle.
Okay,
And the
all right.
third book is called Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. And if you want to learn more about me, if you want to read about my experience, my book is called Getting Lost in the Sauce. And I put my real name, not my nickname, Aya. I put Aya Hojadova. So if you go on Amazon, you'll be able to find it by my real name, Aya. That's my real name, Rusty.
I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so then where else are people going to find you on the internet until you're coming back on the show, which you need to, if you
Okay.
can.
Yes, yes. Well, good. I'm glad you just put it out there because I was gonna say, yeah, we're gonna have to schedule another one of these. And maybe
Absolutely.
in between, I'm hoping that we'll have some comments or maybe some interaction, people giving their feedback in terms of what we talked about. But yeah, I would love to hear from your listeners as well as from you. So let's catch up in the next few months, maybe, or yeah.
Sure.
But
That sounds great.
you can find me on Instagram under Aya Hodra. I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Threads, even though I don't do anything there.
What do you do on TikTok?
What do I do on TikTok?
Yeah, I like to ask people who are over 20 years old what they do on TikTok.
Hey. So right now I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with TikTok. In the past, I used to just do TED Talks, or I would call them Tick Talks. So
Oh,
that would be like inspirational messages. That would be like about a minute or two long. And I used to post them on the daily. These would be motivational. Sometimes these would be marketing, strategy ideas and whatnot. Right now, what I've been doing is really just kind of posting the behind the scenes of commercial real estate. So
okay.
the warehouses or anything that we've leased or sold. So my viewers can kind of see, like, get a glimpse of what commercial real estate looks like, because there's actually not a lot of content of commercial real estate. And I also noticed the agents, the realtors, the real estate agents, they don't know how to utilize the social media tools that are at their hand, because they're not artists, they're not marketers, they're not creatives. And so, like, these are all the things that I am. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out, like, well, okay, how can I leverage all of my expertise and stand out from the rest or from the competition. So right now I'm just kind of playing with TikTok. I think I'm gonna go back to my TED Talks, TikToks. What about you? Because I think I saw you on TikTok. I have not checked.
I'm on. I'm on TikTok. I haven't got to check yours out either. I saw the ad TikTok. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. I did stuff. I had random stuff for a while. I don't even remember what I have on there. I had a bunch of stuff that was like the first one was, I think, I don't know, me talking about someone that I went to return something that okay, well, long story short, I bought something at a garage sale, and then someone posted in the like a garage sale group on Facebook that someone stole stuff, and the thing that was stolen was the thing that I bought. And so I reached out to the person and said, "Hey, I bought this." And they said, "Okay, can we meet up with you?" And uh, you know, I'm like, "Sure, yeah, I'll sell it back to you." And then so I met up with them, and as I got there, she wasn't there, but then the cops showed up. Um, and so that was like my first videos, was kind of ranting about that. But and that was right when I moved to this new town. I was in this new town for maybe two weeks maybe, and then so I got to know the cops early in that one. But the rest was just random stuff. I couldn't tell you what it was. I don't know. So yeah, there's a lot on there, but I haven't done much for a bit on TikTok. Actually, I do like TikTok, and I haven't had any videos of me doing any TikTok dances or anything yet, or any of those. So, you never know. Maybe one day I'll get into that one. But
Yeah,
TikTok. I watch TikTok more than I post. So yeah.
I do like TikTok, and it's a shame because I like to dance too. So, and I don't do dance videos. So,
Oh, okay.
like, I'm I don't want to say like, oh my gosh, I'm like the perfect person. No, but I have everything, and yet I don't utilize them. So thanks for shaming me, Rusty. No,
Yeah, that's my goal. This is the Rusty Diamond Public Shame podcast.
thank
Thank
you.
you for being here.
Thank you so much for letting me be on this hot seat. No, but yeah, no, I think you're bringing a lot of awareness for me of I need to take advantage of all my skill sets, and it's a great time to just play. And I love social media because it's it's a tool if you know how to use it, and it's a bad tool if you don't know how to use it. And what I love about social media is it really immediately tells you and shows you who's the creator and who's the consumer, right?
Absolutely.
I really do my best to be on the creator side rather than the consumer side, because um, if I am a consumer, I want to be definitely a conscious consumer rather than just consuming for the sake of filling a void,
Yep.
right?
It happened a lot during COVID with
Yes.
Facebook and stuff. Some people
Mhm.
spent the whole time just doing that, just scrolling through all that.
Yeah, dangerous. It's a dangerous game. I'm noticing also the more I'm consumed with my phone, with technology, and the more I'm like processing, digesting the feed of social media, the less of a memory I have too. Like I don't remember
Right.
things because like yeah, you I get all these motivational videos that are like 6 seconds long, and now like one, my attention span's shorter, my memory span's even worse, and it's like, ooh, this is troublesome. I don't like that. So again, really trying to find that middle ground where I'm the creator, I'm in control of what I consume, but also not letting the technology and social media consume me and control me. So I think that's the balance that we all have to find, is where we are not just consuming for the sake of consuming, but we're being conscious consumers and really taking good care of our mental health. Very, very important.
Right. And now the memory. So whatever you're doing, just don't ever think of the number four. Just totally forget the number four. Don't think about the number four. Do not think about the number four. That's all you need to do. Just don't think about it. Don't think about the number four. Anyway, um, but also you are the best, and you can do whatever you're doing the best of what you do. Nobody has the same skill set you do, and nobody can do that better than you. And like there's all that you have, all that access. Put it all together. That's what this is about. You gotta just get it all together, put it in a big old ball, and throw it down a hill,
Yeah.
and just let it go. Because I mean, no one, you know, is a very unique skill set, and yeah, no one else has that like you do. So,
Thank you
um,
so much. Thank
yeah,
you, Russ.
yeah,
I just want to tie this in because I know we're going up. I don't know if you have a time, but I
I don't
just
have
want
the time. We could go
okay.
4 hours right now if you wanted
Oh,
to, but
perfect. Perfect.
yeah,
I was just gonna say
well,
this is perfect.
next time.
I was just gonna say what you said. Like that's for you. And that's for your listeners as well. Like you are so unique. The talents, the experience, the entire story of yours. That's what makes you you, and that's what makes you special. Tap into that. Show that off into the world. Use that. Like that's your special sauce. Step into that special sauce. Own that special sauce. And just show it off. And like I love what you said. Like just put it all in a bowl and just throw it out there. Put it out there.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm gonna do. Thank you, Rusty.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Aya, thank you so much. I had a great time talking with you. And like I said, we'll have a part two and probably more than that after this. So
Absolutely. Thank
yeah,
you so much for having me, Rusty.
you're welcome. All right. Have a great day.
Yes, you too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. All right, that's Aya Hojadova. So yeah, get a hold of her. I liked talking with her. That was fun. So you guys, thank you so much for being here on the Quantum Global Broadcasting Network, QGBN. Maybe you want to call in and leave some messages about the show and the episode. You can call in and do that. 503-974-6420. Maybe you like leaving messages, or maybe you don't like leaving messages.
Messages? Messages? We don't leave no stinking messages!
But I need messages, so give them to me. Thank you, everyone. Thanks to our sponsors, Fred Ben Savage as Fuck, Stoner Eats Productions, Hardcore Entertainment, Hypnosis is Great, and Sock 'em Up. Go to sockemup.org. Be able to donate some socks. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And that is the show, man. Boom.
It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker. It's Rusty Diamond, motherfucker.
Ernest! Ernest! Ernest!
Yes, Pee-wee.
You brought the snacks, right?